Okay, welcome everybody. This is the Animal Communication Collective in Jelly's Place, and we are here thanks to everyone coming this evening for this fabulous get together and fundraiser. And my name is Karen Dendy Smith. I'm the founder of the ACC and one of the directors, along with my co-director Meredith Tolleson from the ACC and the rest of the gang, who we'll introduce in a minute. But we're going to start by handing the mic, as you will, over to Chris Stahl, who is here from Jelly's Place to get us started.
Hi, everybody. Welcome. Thank you so much for attending this event. This is just an amazing opportunity that we've had with the Animal Communication Collective, and I'm very happy to be here. Jelly's Place, as some of you know, we are a nonprofit animal rescue and no-kill shelter. We're in San Pablo. And we have, we've been around for 5 years now. I'm one of the founders, and my partner, Julie, who is the other co-founder, I'm hoping she can join us today, but she is at a foster's home.
Over there.
But she's at a foster's home with a very pregnant mama dog. And if she doesn't have puppies real soon, hopefully she'll hop on the camera and meet us. So today we have, we're going to have some readings that'll be selected during the event. And there's also a raffle, as you know. We're going to be reading the winners at the end, and they will each get a link to contact the team and schedule your reading. And also, if you would like to book a reading, a private reading afterwards, up until December 15th, the Animal Communication Collective will donate 15% back to Jelly's Place. So yay, very happy for this opportunity. We raised today $1,465, which is great. It helps us keep doing what we do. So we really appreciate it. And thank you all for coming. And I'm gonna pass it on to back to the ACC. I don't know if I missed anything, but please add it if I did.
We definitely will. Don't worry. So we just wanted to start.
Can I get her name again? Who was that was just speaking?
That was
This is Chris Stahl. I'm a co-founder.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay, so we want to thank everybody for coming. Again, I am Karen Dendy Smith. I am the founder of the Animal Communication Collective. So I just want to explain who we are a little bit for you all tonight, for those who don't already know. We are a group of 30+ professional animal communicators who have all come together, all women from all over the world, actually, to come together and to volunteer and to create an organization where our goal, 100% of our goal, is to support animal welfare organizations around the world with these kinds of events, whether they are online or, now that the pandemic is mostly behind us, in person. We're starting to do some in-person events as well for groups. We all 100% volunteer our time, and we help teach people about animal communication, with the biggest goal, not only fundraising for these amazing organizations like Jelly's Place, but to help give animals a voice. Animals have so much to say. We all know how much they love us. We all know how much unconditional love they have for us. And so the more that we can help be loving conduits for those animals, for all of their people, we believe it helps heal hearts and change the vibration of the universe. And so that's what the animals have told us. And that is why we all came together to create this amazing organization, the ACC, which we'll put the link to our website in the chat at one point, so you can check us out if you'd like and see what we do. Meredith.
Awesome. So as Chris said, Jelly's Place has been selling raffle tickets. We will have an opportunity to buy raffle tickets from now until kind of the middle of our event. We'll let you know when that chance ends. please be sure that you know that if your camera is on, we are recording this event. As Chris said, you're giving permission to be recorded by having your camera on. If you'd like to turn it off, you're welcome to do that. But to be selected for a reading, please know that we would like for you to have your camera on. That said, I am Meredith Tollison. I am co-director of the ACC, the Animal Communication Collective, along with Karen Dundee Smith and all of our fabulous team members who are here this evening. We'd like to give all of us just to have an opportunity to give a quick introduction. Karen, do you want to lead out with a
Sure.
little bit about yourself and who you are and where you are and what you're doing?
Awesome. I'm in Boston, Massachusetts. Sometimes the accent sneaks in, although I try really hard not to let it, but it does. And so I have been an animal communicator now for, gosh, I'd say 4 years. And I'm also a soul level into 5. I can't
I
count.
think.
Maybe. I'm also a soul level intuitive coach, which means I work with people and their spirit guides to help guide them along in their own soul growth. I also have a background in medical Qigong, which is a form of Chinese energy medicine, where I work with people and animals and do energy work. I teach Qigong and teach people about medical Qigong in and of itself. So I'm really thrilled to be here, and I'm so happy to see you all tonight.
Awesome. Thank you, Karen. And I am Meredith Dees Tollison. I am in Tupelo, Mississippi. As much as I might like to say my accent's not going to show up, it is. Promise you that. I am also a soul level animal communicator, a soul level intuitive coach. I have a background in animal Reiki. I'm a certified dog trainer working with dogs, specifically with behavior problems and issues, as well as many, many other things that I do in my life. But this is my passion. I've loved coming together with this group of women to do the work that we're doing for the animal welfare organizations that we're working with. So that's me. Vicki.
I'm Vicki Fontheim, and I'm in Silver City, New Mexico. Like Karen and Meredith, we actually grew up together in animal communication and soul level intuitive coaching. So I do both of those. I'm finishing up a certification in pet loss companioning, and have recently started an animal loss support circle. And I'm also, next Saturday, I'll be finishing up a 9-month program in healing trauma. And so I'm also incorporating that into my coaching and designing some coaching programs from a trauma-informed perspective. And so I think this work continues to fascinate me. I love it. And I think it's going to be my forever job. Happy to be here, and thanks.
Awesome. Thank you, Vicki.
Mhm.
And Jerry, let me just mention that, as Vicki said, we all grew up together in our animal communication training. But here's a fun fact. Jerry was actually one of our teachers as we came through our animal training. She didn't know I was going to say that, but there it is. Jerry helped raise us through this, and we're so happy that we're able to come together again and do this work together. Jerry, an introduction from you, please.
Well, thank you for that. And I am Jerry Carabin. I live in North Carolina at the beach. I'm an animal communicator. I am also a human and animal psychic medium. I do intuitive coaching with a really, really, really heavy law of attraction bent. I'm also certified in past life regression therapy and am a shamanic practitioner. Love, love, love doing this work. And to your point, Meredith, I love so much that we're all colleagues now. And I'm just so thankful and grateful that you guys invited me to join the collective, because it just kind of lights me up and makes my heart sing to be able to do this. So thank you to you guys very much.
Love having you here, Jerry. Thank you. Jody Crotty.
Okay, I was a little panicky because my mute button went away. Hello, everybody. My name is Jody Crotty. As everybody has Karen and Meredith said, I am too also a soul level animal communicator. I'm also a pet loss professional. So I've worked with grieving families, helping them through the loss of their pet. I've worked at a pet memorial and cremation center as well. I'm a newly author of a children's book called Do You Talk with Animals? And it's basically getting children back out in nature, getting them in touch with their intuitive abilities. And all of the animals that are in the book are animals that I've communicated with, everything down from a stink bug to a black bear. It's been a wonderful, wonderful journey. I'm so happy to be on tech this evening or afternoon with everybody here. So thank you so much.
Thank you, Jody Crotty, and Jody Jacobs, who loves to speak.
Yes, I do. Hi, everyone. I'm Jody Jacobs. I am not a professional animal communicator, but I am honored to be their ambassador. And what that means is I reach out to various animal rescues and shelters to see if they want to partner with us to have an event such as this one. So I'm happy to be here, and I hope everyone has a wonderful evening.
Thank you, Jody Jacobs, JJ. Karen, can you kind of lead us out here and tell us what is it we're doing here? What's an
Okay.
animal communicator? How does this work? Give us a lead in.
Okay, so animal communication, what is it? The quick hit explanation. As we know, we all have this ability. We all have an intuitive ability. It's kind of like having a stomach muscle. Some of us can do 100 sit-ups. Some of us have practiced a lot to be able to do 100 sit-ups. And some of us just don't feel like doing 100 sit-ups. But we all have intuition, like we have stomach muscles. And we can practice, like we all did, to become more in touch with how animals communicate all the time. The way that they do that, they communicate very well across species as well, because they are constantly emitting and sensing and feeling and hearing in a different way and seeing in a different way than we do at a lighter, brighter level, frequencies and energies that are happening all around them. They are much more attached, as we know, to nature. It's why that when a storm is coming, they're already gone and we're sitting there going, well, how did they know that was happening? That's part of their intuition. So they are communicating telepathically, sending emotion and feelings and images all the time to each other. It's why sometimes you're sitting there going, why is Fluffy staring at me so intently? I have no idea what she's saying. She's sending you feelings and messages and ideas. There are things that will pop into your head that you didn't realize, like, wow, all of a sudden I think she's hungry, because she's telling you. So they communicate like this with us all the time. So what we have done is we've learned as communicators to lighten up our vibration, open up our kind of third eye and our sensing ability, our feeling ability, and quiet our human minds. So that's how animal communication actually works. How we're going to do this with you tonight. We're going to do what we call mini readings. They're going to be about 8-ish, 9 minutes each. We're going to try to get through at least 6 people this evening with our readings. So the things that we need to know from you, and we will select you. So please don't unmute yourself. Please don't put a whole bunch of stuff into the chat about your animal or your question. We will intuitively select you. And what we are looking for from you, which Jody will put in the chat as a reminder, is all that we need when we select you after you confirm, yes, you're okay with us selecting you, is your animal's name, their species, their gender, and if they are alive or in spirit to start. That's all that we want from you. We're going to go in, we're going to get your animal's personality. We're going to ask them, is there anything in particular they want you to know this evening? Any simple messages they want to get across to you, or complex sometimes? And then we're going to ask you if you have one question for them. We only have time to answer one. So think about the question that you might want to ask them, something that you really want to understand more about them. And we will go to your animal and ask them to please provide that answer. Once we're done, if we have a little bit of time, we'll let you give us just 1 or 2 comments, feedback comments about how it made sense to you and how it might have helped you. Along the way, we'll ask you, does this make sense, what we're sharing with you? If it does, that's great. Just say yes for the moment. You don't have to get into a long explanation. because we don't want to use the time up with an explanation. We want to keep getting information from your animal. But if it doesn't make sense or you need more, that's okay. We can go back to your animal and ask them to please explain it from a different direction or angle. So it's okay to tell us, I'm not sure if that makes sense. Our feelings will not be hurt, okay? Does that help? Is that what we're looking for, Meredith? And did I remember everything?
Absolutely. It sounds like you
Okay.
remembered everything. And oddly enough, it may sound strange to some of you who are in attendance who have never seen something like this before. We actually prefer to only have these pieces of information. We like to know as little as possible so that we can be sure that the information we're getting is from your animal and is not influenced in any way by the information that you're sharing with us. So please stick to those items: name, gender, species, and alive or in spirit, and we will take it from there. So are we ready to get going?
I think we are. And one last thing, please remember, if your camera is off, we will not be choosing you. Right? That's our sign that you want to stay private and you don't want us to read you on screen.
Awesome.
Okay.
And we'll keep everyone muted during the readings, except for the 2 members of the team that are reading and the person who is being read. So I guess let's get rolling. Karen, I think you and Vicky
Yes.
are up for the beginning.
All right. All right. So I'm going to intuitively select our first person. And I have been very drawn to Joanne. Hi, Joanne. Joanne, would you be okay if we did a reading with you? Yes? Okay, so let's unmute you.
Oh, I'm so excited.
Oh, we're so excited too.
So
All
my
right.
animal's name is Zoe, and she is a dog and female, and she is alive. She is a young 7 months old.
Okay, Zoe is a dog. She's female and she is alive and she's a baby. She's only
And she's
7
a
months.
baby.
Okay. All right.
And the one question I want to ask
Oh, wait,
is,
don't wait, hold.
oh,
We'll get you to questions. Let's
okay.
let's let Zoe introduce herself in the way she wants to and share a little bit about what she wants to share, and then we will have you ask her the question. Sound good?
Sounds good. Do you want to see her on the camera? Does that
Nope.
help or no? Okay.
It doesn't matter. We don't actually need to see her.
Okay.
I mean, if she walks across the screen, that's fine. We have animals that do that all the time. But
Okay.
we don't need to ask her to show herself.
Okay.
All right. All right, Vicky. So let's just take a minute. We're going to get grounded. Just take a deep breath. And invite sweet Zoe to come and talk to us. So, excuse me. So the first thing I got from Zoe is she said, "Oh, you're so right. I am sweet." That's the first thing she said to me. I am sweet, and she's kind of like wiggling around. Oop, do we have someone who's? Excuse me. Thank you, Jody. So she says, "I'm very sweet." She's wiggling around a lot, and she's very, very excited to be talking to us tonight. She says.
Yeah, I more felt her sweetness as she came in. She didn't race in the room into my space so much. She came in a little bit slowly, checking things out. But then right behind that was this beautiful sweetness that Karen was talking about. I'm just going to rest with that and see what comes.
Okay, so the other thing that she says to me is, I landed the best family. My mom has the biggest heart. So she's telling me, Joanna, she's already started talking about you. And she says that you have such a huge heart and she feels how much you love her all the time. And she says that's really great. You actually have she's telling me you have a huge mothering energy in a way that just makes her feel safe. And she wants you to know that because she says she needs a little extra energy to make her feel safe and that you provide that. And she wants to thank you for that.
Oh, that's so sweet to hear.
Does this make sense to you?
It does.
Okay, good.
It does.
Good.
She's very bonded to me, and she always has to stick
There we
by
go.
me.
Mhm.
She has it. It's like this is a gentler wiggling back and forth, not kind of squirmy like Karen was deciding, but it's kind of like, I am so special, but that's because my mom is so special. And I'm feeling the bond that you're talking about. But it's like, go ahead for a second, Karen. I haven't quite found the words for what I'm wrapping myself around here right now.
She also says that you realize that sometimes the louder noises kind of throw her off a little bit. She's showing me like louder noises on the road or something where she gets just a little, it throws her off a little bit. She's still developing, you know, her nervous system, but she feels like there are times where you kind of wrap your arms around her and she feels safe again. Does that make sense to you?
You know, that's amazing, because that was the question I was going to ask. Because at home, she's very sweet and confident. And when we go out, she's very fearful.
Okay.
And, you know, my question really was, what are you so afraid of? Because I feel like she is always safe, you know, when we venture out of the house. And yet I don't understand how come she's so fearful sometimes.
Well, there we go. She's already led us into her question. Do we?
Right.
So now we can see why, as a group, like why sometimes it's good to not tell us the question up front and how it leads in. So
Yeah.
Vicky, I think what we should do is jump into the question, unless she's sharing anything else with you.
Yeah, well, she's sharing about the question to
Oh,
me as
perfect.
Joanne was talking about it. So that's good. It's like you had mentioned, Karen, that her nervous system is still developing. And so at home, she feels safe, it's familiar, but she's very sensitive. So when she goes outside of her home, she's picking up on energies and things around her in the environment that are unfamiliar to her. And so she's sensing things that aren't home. And so that's making her a bit scared. Does that make sense?
And she's attributing it to, like Vicky is saying, her sensitive nervous system, when there are smells and noises that she's not used to, she's physically making me feel like she feels a lot of pressure, energy pressure on her, behind her head and her neck and back. And it becomes kind of like this, like almost like she's got to move away from it. And like she could use something to help keep her nervous system a little bit calmer. I don't know if that's like a little, like a wrap, or I do feel like I want to protect my neck and back when I'm hearing these kinds of energies. So that might be something to look at.
Okay.
Yeah. And I'm even, you know, when she's hearing these things, it's like, I see her almost just jumping back a little bit. And I don't know if that's physically so much or energetically, but it's almost like this is what I'm seeing with her.
That's amazing, because she actually does that. And the hairs on her neck and back like go straight up anytime, you know, she feels this way. So it's I can't believe you guys are picking up on that.
Well, and it's very interesting because I always have a bit of anxiety going into these, and I'm familiar with that level of anxiety. But as we're talking about this, I feel almost like I want to jump out of my skin. So I'm having to manage my energy and be clear about discerning what's me and what's Zoe, you know, when she hears these noises. So yeah.
There is something about maybe working with more of a homeopathic vet or someone that alternative stuff, not the Western. Sorry if anybody's big into Western medicine here, but there's something more calming and soothing and a little bit more gentle that you could do with her herb wise that might help calm her nervous system to prepare her when she's out in the world, so she's not so on heightened alert right away. And integrating her a little more slowly. She's showing me like integrating her a little bit more slowly into the outside world with baby steps, into like smaller experiences. So it's not so incredibly overwhelming, like to do it in baby steps till she feels, she knows you're her safe place, but giving her a chance to create some confidence for herself and be for you to be proud of her being open, as opposed to constantly having to like shy away and wait for you to take care of her.
Okay.
Does that make
Okay.
sense?
Okay.
Well, and also because you are so familiar to her and you have the bond that the two of you have, if you're out, even just walking, if she's closer to you and she can feel that connection to you, that gives her some comfort. Or if you're taking her in a car, if there was a place in that car that she could start to identify as hers, so that she has her safe place in the car. Does this,
Oh,
yeah.
okay.
That's that's great too, Vicky. That's a good idea.
like something that's hers and something that's familiar to her. So
Okay.
yeah.
So I think that's everything that Zoe wants to say about that question. So I feel like we've gotten a complete picture for you, Joanne. Do you feel like we've gotten
Yeah.
a complete answer?
Yeah,
for
and I
you?
have some ideas on how to
Good.
help when we go out. So thank you so much.
She's a sweetie pie.
She
So
is.
thanks, Zoe, for letting us talk to her, and for you for sharing her with us.
Thank you, Zoe. Thank you, Joanne.
All right. So Vicky, you and Meredith are next.
Okay. Let me reorganize my space here. Let's see. I have been feeling, let me just see if it's still there. Yeah, I've been feeling drawn to Kathy B. Would you like to have a reading, Kathy?
Yeah, I would. Thank you.
Let me find her. There she is.
I'm
There you
here.
go.
I got sun in my eyes too, so sorry. So this is Gwen is male and is a cat. And I don't know if he is alive or not alive. He's been missing since early June.
Can you spell Gwen for me, please?
Sure, Gwen.
Okay.
Okay, that's how I wrote it down. This is one kind of cool thing about how this all works, how the energies come together. I do a lot of work with lost and missing animals, as does Vicky. So great that you've gotten the two of us here for work with Gwen. Give me just a minute to sort of clear the energy and connect. And I'm tempted to ask you what's behind his name, but I may want to hold off on that for just a moment.
Okay.
Okay.
So I immediately see with Gwen, like rustic mountain man, like the Marlboro man is what he looks like. I mean, there's flannel, there's tough guy, there's big, bold, there's mountains and there's pine trees, and literally see him like sitting behind a campfire, smoking a cigarette. There feels like something about him that is rustic. Does that describe anything about his personality to you?
Yes,
Okay.
definitely.
Yeah, I'm not seeing there's a gruffness about him to me. I'm not necessarily seeing but a little bit of a tough guy, but also some of that is a facade. It's like, don't let that fool you. It's more like a front or an act that he's putting on. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah.
He really feels burly and hairy to me. Like there's something like hairy to me. I don't know exactly why that's showing up for me, but it as Vicky's saying, it sort of does feel like a look how tough I am sort of facade. And I get information in all sorts of different ways. I see, hear, feel, touch, taste, smell, and he actually smells smoky like a campfire to me. What else you got, Vicky?
Well, I was just, when we were talking about the tough guy facade, it was like he was going on about what a tough guy he was as he was kind of weaving around your legs and rubbing up against you at the same time. So it again showing me that facade, that tough facade. And I'm hearing that he's needed that at times. Does that make sense to you?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah.
When you say that, Vicky, you say he needed that at times. He needed that affection, that cuddling, that like comforting is what I'm feeling. Is that
Okay.
what you mean?
Well, and I was feeling more that, I mean, yes, he needs that. You're right. That was like the next step, but he also needed that facade. It's
Oh,
like
the
he's
facade.
showing me both. Yeah, it's like he's needed that tough guy facade for some reason. And he hasn't quite yet shared with me, but let's see. I'm also I'm feeling some sadness at this point in time with his energy. Are you picking up on anything like that, Meredith? Like a lot, like a longing, a loss.
Yeah, I'm feeling more like I mean, he's totally rolling with this sort of cowboy by the campfire in the middle of the desert scene, you know? He's out there playing his harmonica and singing a sad song and knowing he's where he's supposed to be, but there's also a part of where he used to be that feels like it's tugging at his heartstrings. Like he's singing songs about, you know, a woman that he loved and a place that he loved and the good old days. He doesn't feel necessarily distraught to me, but a little bit of a longing and a memory string coming in here.
Yeah,
Does
I
that make
do.
sense to you, Vicky?
Yeah, I mean, I do definitely feel that he misses you, Kathy. I definitely feel that he misses you.
But I'm really seeing this like old-timey desert cowboy spaghetti western sort of film with tumbleweeds and saguaro cacti, and like he's in wide open spaces, and that's where he's supposed to be, but there's a bit of a longing for what he came from.
It's almost, it's like it's like there's this part of him who wanted to try this lifestyle on for size, you know, but and now, I mean, it's like Meredith said, he's okay. I don't get the sense that he's not okay in any way, shape, or form. But I do get the sense that he sometimes questions this choice.
Okay, anyone who's worked with me, all of my ACC ladies, you know, I get random information and it often has to do with the Muppets. And I'm seeing a scene from the Muppet movie where they're all in the middle of the desert and they're singing those beautiful songs and they're playing the harmonica around a campfire. It's a sense of camaraderie,
Yeah.
but there's a little bit of this old Western thing going on. I don't know what any of that means, but they're all there together because they wanted to be. And like you said, Vicky, sort of, this is something I wanted to do, but now I'm questioning it a little bit.
Yeah.
You think we're ready for the question, Vicky?
Yeah, I was just gonna say, do you have a question for Gwen, Kathy?
I have lots of questions for Gwen.
Lots of questions.
Yeah. So I think I'll stick with the most basic one is he still in his physical body?
Okay.
I don't have any feelings, Kathy, that he is not. I have a couple of signs and symbols and signals that indicate to me I'm not feeling any of those. So I'm asking the question, are you trying to show me a yes or no to this question? And I'm going to sit with that answer for a second while Vicky clearly has something to say.
Well, no, physically, when I ask if he's still in his, or like, I get a physical response when I ask a yes or no question for something. And so when the answer is yes, I feel more of an opening. And when I get a no, I get more of a contraction. And so my question for him is, it's like, are you in spirit or are you in his body? So are you in spirit? I feel that contraction drawing in. Also, it's like the information that I'm receiving doesn't seem like it's coming from spirit in, it feels more like it's coming from soul in. And so that's the information I'm receiving with it.
So in saying that, Vicky, you're saying you're feeling this in body sensation.
Yeah, and the information that I've been receiving from him doesn't feel more, it feels more 3D. It feels more like in a body. It doesn't feel there's a difference when I'm speaking with an animal who's crossed in spirit. There's an energetic difference.
Yeah, this feels to me more, I agree with Vicky. I have different feelings in my body when I'm speaking with an animal in spirit versus an animal in body. And this doesn't feel to me that fluffy, tingly, light body feeling that I get when I'm working with an animal in spirit. It feels more like an animal on a walkabout, like still out doing some things, having some adventures, questioning whether he made the decision to do these things, but still kind of figuring it out as he's going.
Mhm.
Yeah. I get the same sense that Meredith does, that I don't think that he's completely alone, but he is independent. It's like he is meeting up with fellow travelers. Does that make sense?
Mhm.
Are you
Yeah.
seeing that too, Meredith?
Yeah, I'm seeing this old school kind of like meeting up in a tavern and, oh, we're all headed to this castle. Let's do this together. And oh, now we're here and we're going to this, Wild West ghost town. I mean, it's shifting and changing over historical opportunities for things, but it's like a choose your own adventure book. Do you guys remember that from when we were kids? So if I say
Yeah.
this or Mad Libs or something, it's like filling in the blanks as you go, as opposed to having a larger plan. He's rolling with it, are the words I'm hearing. Rolling with it.
Yeah, it's like when, as you were talking about the cowboy, one of the visions that I was getting was around the campfire, but underneath the stars, and just taking it all in and really fully embracing each moment, each experience. Yeah.
It feels, Kathy, like he's really enjoying this, that there are moments where he's a little homesick, like, a kid at summer camp, or like open under the wide open spaces, that Dixie Chick song I'm hearing out there, wide open spaces. I'm loving this. Oh, but it sure was nice when someone fed me 3 times a day, I'm not feeling any regret, any resentment, any fear, but just more a sense of adventure that has some great times and some more challenging times. Does that seem to make sense to you?
Yeah, it does, in a big way. Yeah.
Anything else for you, Vicky?
No, I think that's good for now, Meredith. Did we answer your question, Kathy? Was there anything?
Yeah, you did. I mean, it's kind of the sense that I've been getting about him, that he was feral, and then he kind of got domesticated, and that the neighborhood that I'm in, the area that I'm in, is named after Old Wild West. And so when you were saying that, it's like, that makes a lot of sense. I mean, everything is like Old Wild West named. So, and when he was a kitten, we named him Gwen because we thought he was female, because he was very furry. He grew into a very long-haired cat, so very fuzzy, very furry, and we couldn't see any parts. So that's, he looked female, but he knew his name, so we stuck with that. And so, yeah, so I feel like he's on a walkabout. And
So,
our
Kathy,
neighbors. Oh, go ahead.
I want to add one thing there. I know it's not spelled the same way, but as soon as you said his name and said he was a male, I had an image of Fred Gwynn, who is the actor who played Herman Munster.
Oh.
But he was also a Harvard educated astrophysicist or something like that. And he wrote
Wow.
these awesome children's books. But I could see this like gentle giant, like brilliant, but oversized comedic act, like all of these things jumbled into one. If you ever
Mhm.
look up Fred Gwynn and
Okay.
message us and tell me what you see about that, that
Okay.
was relevant to me at the beginning of our reading.
Okay. And does Fred spell his last name Gwen, or is it different?
I think
Do you
it's
know?
different. I think it's
Okay.
GUI, but that's all I could see was Herman Munster
Okay.
in a desert
Okay, I'll
around a
look it up.
campfire playing the harmonica with Kermit the Frog. I mean,
Right. Got it.
And this
Got
is you, this is you wearing off on me, Meredith. It's like I am actually spurs, and the jingle jangle and the noise that the spurs make keep coming through to me. So it's like I'm seeing him really getting into that, but also with some chaps, like spurs and chaps. So he's really just embracing this wildlife, this cowboy life. That's not my usual thing. I could see you saying that, Meredith. You're wearing
Yeah.
off on.
So
Yeah,
I
great.
love that Wild West connection there. Thank you, Kathy.
Yeah.
But he
Thank
likes
you.
the noise those spurs are making.
Yeah.
Yeah, right. And the other thing I was going to say is, I saw him and he liked to cuddle, but when he was outside, he would run. It's like, don't touch me. And I always thought of him as this very sweet kitty. And my neighbors would say, this is a really badass cat. So he kept the rodents down. So
But he
Well,
does miss his snuggles though. He did like those snuggles.
yeah.
yeah.
Oh, good. Good. That's nice to hear. Thank you so much. Thank
Thank
you
you.
for this opportunity. I really appreciate it.
Thank you, Kathy,
You're
for
welcome.
sharing Gwen with us. Yeah, I'd be curious to hear what else you consider about that.
Okay.
At this time,
Thank
I'd
you.
like to remind everyone that this is last call. This is altar call for raffle tickets. If you would like to purchase any more raffle tickets to win a reading with any of the 5 of us from the ACC team, we have each donated a 1.5 hour reading for any of you who are in attendance here this evening or who have purchased raffle tickets. So this is a last chance. After this reading, we will close the raffle ticket sales, and then we will continue with our event. So for now, I would like to ask Jerry to join me in doing a reading, and I am being drawn to, let's see if I can find, everyone's moving around. Beth, are you open to having a reading with us this evening? Awesome. Let's see if we can get you unmuted. And then we will ask you, let me get my next sticky note over here. So Beth, who would you like for us to connect with this evening?
Jin Yang.
Can you spell that, please?
Sure. JIANYANG. Jin Yang.
Jin Yang. And Jin Yang is what species?
Sorry. It's a canine, Chihuahua, miniature poodle, German Shepherd mix.
Oh my God. So is Jin Yang male or female?
Male.
Male. And is he alive or in spirit?
He is alive.
Alive. So Jin Yang. I'm gonna not think about all those other things.
I know.
And then we are going to connect with Jin Yang. And what a fabulous name.
He's alive thanks to Jelly's place.
God bless Jelly's place. Yay. All right, we're going to take a moment to clear and connect with Jin Yang. Jerry, if you've got anything, jump right in, please.
Okay. I usually often start my readings with a word. For some reason, I get a word, and the word is strong. It wasn't strength, it was strong. And I'm also feeling like really, like kind of in my shoulders, like the top of my shoulders. So I don't know how big he is. I don't need to know how big he is, but he sees himself as quite big. He sees himself as like, yeah, I'm all that. And he's, so it's like he sees himself as physically big and strong, but it's not just the physicalness of his strength, it's his overall feeling. I'm feeling quite solid. I'm feeling, you know, to say what you said before in the past one with Kathy, like there's a badassness that he sees about himself. Does that make sense to you?
Yes.
Okay.
So I'm seeing this sort of cartoonish combination of energies, like great big. I have a friend who has a ambassador, so he's this great big Labrador, but his legs are this big. You know, he's 3 feet long and a foot tall. I'm feeling this sort of combination of parts and pieces, and I'm hearing. I know we're getting close to Halloween, but I'm hearing a little Frankensteinish, but then there's a ha 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 around that, not like a judgment around that. Like, look at all of these weird combinations that have come together. And I'm seeing a Picasso portrait, you know, where the nose is over here and the eyes are over here. And this is art. It's strange looking, but it's art, and it all works and people love it and appreciate it. Does that make any sense to you with regard to his personality?
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah.
So Meredith, when you're saying that, like I was getting that, again, going back to that strength. So I feel like he's showing me he's actually smaller. And there's a need somewhere in him to kind of prove himself. Like, yeah, I can play with the big boys. I can play with the big boys. But also, Meredith, when you were saying the painting part, like all these different things, it's like he kind of like broke, like he went, yeah, like what she's saying, and kind of like, but he did this. He said, look at me. I mean, for real, look at me. Will you look at this? Like, kind of like he's pretty, there's a little bit of a cockiness in him about how he looks, it feels like. Does that make sense to you?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah.
So final note to add to that before we come to the question is there's a little bit of a stance about his allegiance, his loyalty, his royalty is what I'm hearing. He's like, I'm the heir to the throne. And there's a little bit of something about him that feels that he should be larger, whether that's in physical space, in elevation and rank,
Mm-hmm.
or in his claim to the throne. There's a little bit of little man thing going on that's like, but look how big I'm supposed to be, and how powerful I am.
Mm-hmm.
And right before we go to the question, I want to add to that, there's a jokesterness about him, about this whole thing. Like he's like, sort of like, did you say the short little man complex or something? I don't know if you just said that, but it's like he's working it. He's working that kind of thing. And that's still, it's weird because I'm not convinced that he's little, but he's showing me little. I missed it. Hold on a second. So a little bit of a jokiness about it, like, yeah, they just made a mistake. Like, you know, God, spirit, universe, whoever created me, they just made a mistake. It's all good. I'm good with it. I can roll with the punches, kind of thing. Make sense to you, Beth?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. All right.
What question would you like to ask of Jin Yang? Did I say that right? Jin Yang?
Jin Yang. Mm-hmm.
What does that mean? It's Chinese. What does it mean?
Chinese. It's a character from the show Silicon Valley.
Karen's like, oh, woohoo!
You know, I don't know if you know that show.
I don't know that show, but that's
Oh.
probably good. Because I'm picturing him as Tyrion Lannister from Game of Thrones.
My husband did not want another dog, and to convince us, or to let us keep the dog, he was allowed to name him, and he thought we would say no.
Awesome.
And we said yes. So
Awesome.
Yin Yang it is. So I guess my burning question has always been just about his life before we rescued him. How he was treated, how how if he's in pain at all from anything. Is there anything, I don't know.
So Jerry, how would you like to rephrase this question? I'm feeling, what would Yin Yang like for us to know?
About his former life.
Mhm.
Yeah, what would Jin Yang like us to know about his former life? So do you mind if I go, Meredith?
No, absolutely.
So I have certain symbols. I'm sure we all do. We have certain symbols when we see certain things that means something for us. So I'm getting my sign for, and he's being very soft about this because he's like, let's keep our energy going this way, not going that way. So he's being very soft about this. It's like, not like, yeah, no big deal, no big deal. I do feel that there was neglect around him for sure. I'm seeing my certain symbol. The feeling that I'm getting is it was like emotional neglect. Like I'm not like just you're tied over there and nobody's paying attention to you kind of thing. But I think the more important piece is that he's not like, and all of my colleagues can probably, agree with me on this, that a lot of times they're not like, oh God, it was awful and they don't go there because they're so pure positive energy. So what he's saying is, yeah, it wasn't great, but man, did I step in it, kind of. And when I say step in it, I think you know what I mean, step in, you know what I mean? Like he's quite, it feels like his energy level went from wah, wah to wah, like, and he's quite really content and a lot more energized now than he ever had the ability to be. Does that make sense to you?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it's funny, Jerry, that you should talk about the symbols that you receive. We all have sort of things that have started coming to us more frequently in readings as we've done this over the years. And one thing in my toolbox is an image of big black boots, like Doc Martin boots. And those frequently mean to me two things. One, I only see the feet. I don't see the legs. I just see the feet in these big black boots. And it symbolizes feeling grounded and being solid in his foundation. And it also symbolizes kicking ass. Like if these boots show up, everything's under control. I got this. So those are two things that are coming to me from him is I'm grounded in where I am. And rarely do animals want to talk to me about the things that came before. They're like, this is where I am. This is what I'm doing now. And apparently I've got on my Doc Martens and I'm kicking ass.
Okay.
Does that feel like this guy to you?
Yeah, absolutely.
Awesome.
Anything else you want to add, Jerry?
No, just I know this probably sounds corny, probably sounds cheesy, like, oh, he loves you so much. But what he's saying is he's really quite happy where he is. And he's looking at this as like, it's almost like it was a start over for him. Like, oh, okay, now I get to live. Okay, now I get to go for it. That's kind of, he's really jazzed about where he is right now.
Okay.
And I'm going to add to that real quickly. I can almost never get by without the animals showing me something, a message that they want to deliver to you. Even if I tried, this groundedness, this solid boots on the ground, and this ass kicking energy are both messages for you. You've got this, you're grounded, you're rooted, and put on your whatever it is that makes you feel good and powerful. If it's your boots, if it's your glitter, if it's your whatever, and go out there and do your thing.
Thank you.
Awesome. Does that
Beth,
feel
is he big or
Jerry?
little? Just tell me, is he big or little?
He's a little guy. He
thinks he's a big guy.
He thinks he's a big guy.
with
Yeah.
German Shepherd protective attributes.
Okay.
Protects us.
Okay.
So, but he has a pellet in his back at his spinal cord.
Okay.
And so that's where not removing it, concerned about removing it, but just wondered if he was in any pain or if there was something else we could do for him.
He's not showing me pain at all. He's showing me like living best life.
Okay.
Yeah.
And he showed me feeling like a tough guy.
Okay.
Yeah.
Good. Good. Thank you guys.
You're
Thank you,
welcome.
Beth, for sharing him with us. And I love that name. I'm gonna go look that up.
Okay.
Go look that up.
Okay, great.
Just a reminder to everyone, this is your last moment. We are closing the sales of raffle tickets right now. We'll give you 5 seconds. Jody will post the link in the chat real quick. But then that's done and we will move on to the last couple of readings. Jerry, it looks like you and Karen are up next.
Yeah, Karen and I are up next. Okay, I have been drawn to consistently throughout this, keep seeing this face, keep seeing this face. We're going to go to Lindsay Robbins. Lindsay, are you okay with getting a reading? Karen, it
Yes,
looks like you know Lindsay.
I
I
do,
do
but I
know
don't know all her
Karen.
animals.
Oh, okay,
No.
so is this going to work for you?
Yep.
Awesome. Okay, cool. So Lindsay, who are we reading? Name, male, female, species, you know the drill.
We're gonna read Luna, who's right there actually,
Luna?
and she's a cat. What else do you need to know? Luna, cat,
Female alive. That's it.
female, alive.
Okay, cool. All right. Let's go ahead and connect with Luna.
Okay.
So Luna immediately pulls me to like, kind of like, look at my fur, look at my, look how sleek I am, look how sleek I am. She also brings me to her name, Luna. She loves the name Luna because of the moon thing happening. So I don't know if that's why you named her, you know, something about the moon, but she thinks the moon is like a cool, beautiful, shiny, sparkly, like magical thing. And she's kind of like, yeah, that's sort of me. That's sort of me. Do you know what I
You know,
mean?
I've been told that before, so that's funny that you said that. Somebody
Okay,
else told me
cool.
that a year ago.
Awesome. Karen, feel free to.
And so when I connected in with Luna, I said, hi, sweetie, I would love to talk to you. And she came out with this song, Blue Moon. As she walked in, she was like, Blue Moon. And like, you know that old song?
Yeah.
She feels, she does feel very connected to them. Energetically, she feels very connected to the moon. And so she wanted, there's something there's something in the lyrics though for you to look at. It's not the whole song. I don't know if it's the whole song or if this is, I think there's a couple of sentences in there that are going to have real impact for you when you look at those lyrics, because she made me feel like she wanted you to listen to that song, but the way that it came out, it was almost like somebody was singing like with some real emotion and devotion to singing that song. So there's something about that song and her that is important for you to know, I guess.
And when you were saying that, Karen, for some reason I keep saying, you saw me standing alone, you saw me standing alone, you saw me standing alone. So whether that means something to you or not, Lindsay, just keep that in mind. When you were talking about the moon, Karen, she's talking about glowing, glowing, glowing. So she is kind of, and she's not saying this in a like stuck up way, but she's kind of like, look at my fur, look at my fur, look at my fur, like glowing, glowing, glowing. But it also feels to me like it may not have been that way always. And so now she's her fur is nicer than it used to be, or something. So it feels like there's been like a progression that she's showing me. Like now she's improved in some way is kind of what she's showing me. Does that make sense to you?
Yeah, it does.
Okay.
And to play off of that, it's so funny how we kind of hone, like how an animal will bring us the same types of information, but differently based on our own radars and systems of intuition. And the way that she showed it to me is she wanted you to know that her system is very delicate and sensitive, almost like the changing frequencies that happen when the moon changes. And that she's very much, her system and her nervous system are very much aligned with a lot of different frequencies that you may not actually be able to see or feel yourself, although she says you do actually feel a lot of them. And but there's something to understanding her system, and it ebbs and flows. Its balance ebbs and flows, and to not to forget to just to go with the flow. Sometimes things are more up and some things are more down. And even in her own little system, from some things, sometimes she feels more up and sometimes her energy feels more down. Does that make sense to you, Lindsay?
Mhm.
Okay.
And just to add to that, before we get to the question, she, like, while you were saying that, and this is kind of like, in addition, like I said, she's showing me, she's at her best when in her head anyway, she's slow and present and observant. But I also feel like this is for you. Like a message that she's already kind of pushing out there, being slow, being present, being observant, like you being here now, kind of thing. So, and she said like she's at her best, but I'm thinking, like I said, she's meaning you're at your best, Lindsay, if you're being slow and present and observant. And it feels like the opposite of multitasking, because there's a feeling that there's a lot of multitasking going on in your life. Maybe we should take a couple of tasks out of that multi, if that makes sense.
That makes sense.
Okay. Okay. Do you have a question for Luna? Did you want to add anything, Karen, before?
No, I'm gonna wait. I want to see what her question.
Okay,
I wanna
cool.
see what your question is.
There's so many things, but I think the main thing for her right now is I have another cat, and they used to be great and they still do get along, but mainly, well, actually pretty much every day at some point, he just kind of like goes up and jumps wherever she is and she gets scared of him. She hisses, or he goes after her like in a playful but aggressive way, but it's almost like she lost her confidence. I'm working on it right now with all the things, but I'm just wondering what is it that she doesn't feel like she could stand up to him, like, and she used to totally be fine, you know?
Oh, okay. What is his name?
Dash.
Dash. All right.
Dash.
So I'm wondering, Jared, if we ask Luna to, right now at this time in her life, if she could explain a little bit about what is going on from her perspective about her and Dash.
With her and Dash. Perfect. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
And also, I have to say, and how this dynamic relates to, there's obviously a lesson in when an animal does this, when this happens, there's always a lesson for the human. So I'm just going to allow her to share it however she wants. And Lindsay, take in that it may also be a message for you about something in your life. Okay.
Okay.
All right. So Luna, share with us what's going on with you and Dash right now at this time.
So when I asked that question, she kind of is bringing me back to the slow, present, observant. And I really do feel exactly what you said, Karen, that this is a message for you, Lindsay. So it's like she had me write down ruining my zen. So it feels like, you know, I'm in this place and I'm being very present, whatever. And then something comes at me and now I'm like, oh crap, I gotta go over here. Oh crap, I gotta go over here. Oh crap, I gotta go over here. I really kind of feel like this is connected to you, where you're going along doing your thing and then something comes in and you have to add it and fix it right now or deal with it right now, as opposed to, I'm just going to go along with my zen and I'm going to put that in its proper place and I will get to it. I really highly agree with what I highly agree with what I know what's that what Karen said about a message for you. This is her demonstrating in a pretty way a message for you.
Yeah.
Karen.
She showed me, this is interesting because I think it ties back to what she was saying about going with the cycles of the moon and sometimes being more condensed and quiet in her energy and sometimes more expanded. She's showing me like right now she seems to be in more of a kind of a condensed kind of zen, like you were saying, Jerry, energetic space, which is actually allowing Dash to push all of his energy out more. he's not used to having less of a boundary. So it's kind of like, woo, free for all for me, dash. Excuse me, because Luna's in a space of kind of like pulling in her energy and trying to be more calm and quiet to show you that's what you need. But the dynamic between the two of them is really the lesson, in that as she's trying to show her calm and quietness, he's taking over the space. And there's an energetic imbalance, something that's happening with you that's very similar if you take a look at it. To help with them, the more calm and quiet you can become and more present with her, especially when you may notice her being a little bit more retreated and him getting a little extra excited, to be really, really present with that, not from a place of stop, dash, but more like, okay, this dynamic is what is this telling me about how I'm feeling right now? And if you can get grounded in the moment, a little bit more meditative in the moment, and actually expand your energy and ground yourself with her and just explain to Dash, no, I get it. I get what you're saying. I'm expanding to calm us and balance us again. It may help offset his like wanting to like take over, because he feels like there's big extra cavern of space for him that he somehow feels he needs to fill. And on another level, there is a homeopathic thing called convivial cat. I don't know if you've ever heard of it. It's by the cat fairies.
I've heard of the cat fairies. I will look that up.
Check it out.
I'm totally into homeopathy, so I will definitely look into one.
Yeah, check it out. Energy test it or muscle test it, see if it's the right one for you. But there's something about convivial cat that just feels like it would balance out the energy for a little bit right now.
Great.
And the last thing I'm just going to throw in is picking on the word boundaries. But again, I think that these are things that they are exhibiting for you to pick up on. So what do we say? We invite you to explore the song, and then think about those boundaries and where they fit in or could fit in your life.
Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you guys so much.
You are
so
very welcome.
welcome.
Thank you, Lindsay. We appreciate it.
You too.
Okay, thank you, Jerry. Thank you, Luna. This was really great to connect with
Yeah.
her. And as we disconnect with her, I am up again next, and I'm going to invite Meredith to come in collab with me on the next reading.
All right, Karen, who are you looking at?
Well, let's see. Goodness, let me see who there was somebody who I want to see if I can find them again. Where are you? Is it Susan Hale? Suzanne? How do you spell it? How do you say that?
Hi, it's Suzanne.
Suzanne. Okay, that's so cool. Suzanne, are you
Hi,
up for a reading with
and
us?
my daughter Danielle.
You what?
And there's my daughter Danielle. We're together.
Hi, Danielle.
Hi.
Hi, Suzanne. Are you guys up for a reading?
Yes, we would love
Awesome. Fabulous.
to. Okay, so Callie, and she's female, dog, and she's alive, enjoying a nap behind us.
Wonderful. Okay. Callie, female dog, alive, enjoying a nap.
Enjoying a nap.
I love it. All right, let's just take a minute and get grounded with Callie and see what she wants to share today.
Karen, I got to jump right in
Go
because
for it.
Enjoying a nap. I love that. Callie is stepping up, saying, here's what I need. It's okay for me to sit down for a second and be the dog, right? Correct? That I'm meant to be. You know, she's showing me an energy immediately of you feeling the need to go and do and be and make sure things are all taken care of. And she's like, watch this. I'm asleep on the couch. Feels like a little message that she's trying to deliver to you.
And with that, she's definitely telling me, it's okay to slow down. The main message, it's okay to slow down. I don't know why I feel like I'm getting like an older, wiser energy from her. Does this make sense to you guys?
Yeah.
And that, she makes me feel like she's showing me this long experience in life, and having enjoyed she's saying the riches of life, and it's okay to just take a breath and slow down. Does that
And
make
as you
sense?
say, riches, Karen, I hear ritual,
Mm.
and I hear cyclical, and I hear hibernation, and the ebb and the flow and the seasons and the cycles and the circles of life, that there's something in this this changing of seasons that's very important to you, that's very important to her, and she wants to show it to you, would be a more accurate way of saying that. Does that mean anything to you, Suzanne?
Well, yeah, actually, I love spring and summer, and I have a harder time with the cold, and so I'm sort of trying to get ready for that with her, because she's got a lot of fur, and she's a lot easier to take care of in the summer and the spring than in the other months. So,
But what
yeah.
if it's not as literal, changing of seasons?
Okay.
But
She's
the
she's
two
bringing
of-
me to her body, you guys. So I feel like maybe there's a question there, but she just wants me to share what she's making me feel in her body right now. And I'm getting this little bit of a textury feeling in some of my joints. For me, sometimes that's a symbol of some arthritis. I also feel like in my paws, my ankles of my paws. And that her top of her head, her spine, like right below her skull here, could use a little bit of like a very gentle, but some sort of an adjustment. So if you have like a good chiropractor or massage therapist that really understands like gentle adjustment in animal spines, just to have somebody take a look in here, it feels like it would help alleviate a little bit of I feel like there's some sort of a little bit of a blockage going on in there that she could use a little bit of help with. Does this make sense to you guys?
she just went through 2 surgeries, actually,
Okay.
and they were in
Okay.
her neck and her mouth. So
Oh, okay. She could use, I think that there must be stiffness from all of that in there, probably from that. So, but she's more focused on letting you know there is some stiffness in here, and it's because it's stiff, it's making her ankles feel a little stiff too, in the way that she's walking.
Okay.
One more thing to add before we move on. I'm feeling it's this whole like changing of seasons and hibernation, and there's a mama bear energy. There's a protective energy coming from her. Is it towards you? I'm not positive, but there's definitely like this umbrella energy and this swooping in, and this let's all back up and take a moment and take a deep breath and be here together energy, for whatever that means.
Okay. Do you want to share your question that you have?
yeah, she's actually very, very protective of us. Okay. Very protective, and so that was right on. The question that I think we want to ask is, all the time we've had her, she always is going after everybody's feet, and she's not nice to most other dogs, and we want to know why she feels she has to do that.
And just to clarify, human feet.
Okay.
Human feet, and very territorial of us,
of all
outwards of
animals.
other dogs.
Okay.
Do you mind saying that just one more time for me?
Yeah, she goes after human feet. Often if we bring anyone into our environment, like the home, and then also just very territorial outwards with other, primarily dogs, interactions.
Wherever we go.
Okay.
I
So,
immediately am brought back to this bear energy. And what's funny is I'm drawn to, and I don't know what bear energy means. I mean, in terms of animal and shamanic practices and all of those things, I think is probably important. But what it brings me to is this pair of little bedroom slippers that my sister had when we were kids that were bare feet. They were like fluffy Muppet bare feet with claws, and I had one that were elephant feet. But I'm seeing a playful energy going after these stuffy, fluffy slippers. But I'm also feeling a much larger umbrella of this protective mama bear energy. And it's feeling to me like she doesn't know what else to do. She thinks this is what she's supposed to do. And it feels important, but this whole concept of she's not entirely sure why. Karen, what are you getting for the why?
I think, so what I'm picking up from her when I ask her what is important for me to know about, what do you want to share with your mom about? Oh, sorry. Well, I think somehow we all got muted by accident. Okay. I ask her what she wants me to know about this protective energy. Let me just go back to her for a second. She makes me feel like she is very protective of you guys, but she makes me feel like there's an energy around, I don't know if it's a pattern that has been created over time that now she's gotten caught up in, but there's kind of like there's like a when she starts to do it, coming from the humans that are around her as well, the ones that matter. So she's saying the ones that matter. So you guys, Suzanne, or whoever's kind of in charge of her, there's already a preemptive, I hear preemptive strike. Like there's already a stress going on that she's feeling around the situation. And so as these legs or feet come near her, she's kind of feeling like she's providing what she feels she's being asked for. So it is an interesting dynamic in her thinking it's what she's supposed to do, and also being feeling like the anxiety coming before she's supposed to do it. And I think she's picking up on your guys' energy a little bit on stepping up. I keep hearing stepping up. So it may be that looking at how much space and boundary you need to give her so that you feel calm, so that you feel there's enough boundary for her, so that she doesn't feel put in the position of having to do this protective thing that is, it's actually overwhelming to her. It feels overwhelming to her as well. Does that make sense to you, Meredith? Are you picking up?
Yeah, it feels like it feels like a supposed to. It feels like a whole overarching responsibility that you feel like you're supposed to do. That then is there's a little bit of a feeling of judgment or fear around it. Like, I thought I was supposed to do that. No, did I do it wrong? And yeah, it just feels like a bit of confusion around.
I see her under somebody's arm too. I don't know how big she is. Does she get carried by someone or held by someone? I don't know what it is. There's something about her being.
She lays and tucks into my husband quite a bit.
Okay.
Yes. And we've been lifting her out of the car because of the joints and.
Okay.
Yeah.
But my husband is like her calmer.
Yeah. There's something about being held.
He keeps going to her.
Yeah.
She keeps going to him.
Yeah. She's looking for this to be held. And I know that she's showing it to me physically, but think about what that means in concept too. Something about being held. she's looking for that space to be held and not have to be out on her own or out in front. That feeling of being out in front is too much for her.
And I would add to that the question of the position of being held and needing to do the holding feels a little bit confusing for her. She wants to be held, but she feels this sense of responsibility of having to do something else for others. Does that make sense to you, Karen, what I'm saying?
Does it make sense to you, Suzanne?
Definitely. I mean,
Okay.
yeah.
I think giving her more space, you know, giving her the space that she's asking for so that she doesn't feel like she's put in this position. To take the stress off of her is really what she's asking for at this time. Okay.
Yeah. We thought we were doing that, but I guess we're not.
Well, I mean, you must be on the right path because she's showing me something that you're already starting to do. So I think she needs more of what you and your instincts know is the right way, just to keep going down that path with her and give her that space of feeling held and feeling calm and feeling calmed by you guys and taking a look at what's going on here. Some of the irritability from feeling uncomfortable makes her more tense as well. So she needs a little more support there as well.
I agree with that completely. It feels like you've already been on the track of doing
Yeah.
something. Let's just do a little bit more of that. Your instincts are correct.
Yep.
Pay attention to how you cycle together and give her a little bit more of that.
Thank you.
Can you, for what you guys were feeling, the changing of seasons, was that more in the literal sense? Or was it more of a changing of seasons for her?
That's hard for me to answer in the moment. Was a definite significant hit that I was receiving. I would have to go back and sort of ask that question specifically.
Yeah, I think that there's a potential for a longer reading here, but I do, like she said to me from the beginning, I feel like she's had a lot of experience in life. So I would look at that as part of the message and just needing this space and time where she's at right now to just have the space to slow down and have more space. It's okay to sit back and relax. It's okay to slow down for a little while. This is what she needs.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you. She's
Thank
12.
you.
She's 12. So yes.
Oh, well, that, okay. That makes a lot of sense. Okay.
Yes,
All
thank
right.
you.
Thank you for sharing her with us. She's quite a sweetie.
Well, thank you for
She's such
picking
a
her.
love.
Yeah,
Thank
Okay.
you. So Karen, we've do we have time for one more? Should we wrap it here? What do you think?
I don't know. I know we're almost at the end. If people are okay with staying just a few extra minutes, if we can do a shorter one, we'd love to get in one more. Maybe we get a personality quick and question maybe one round of each, just to give people that one last possibility for a quick reading. Does that sound okay to everybody? Are we good with that, everyone? Hanging in there for each other? And then we'll go right into the raffle tickets with Chris so we can get through those and thank everybody for this evening. Okay, so with that, we'll let Vicky and Jerry take the last reading.
Who are we looking at, Vicky?
Well, you know, who I was looking at is not here anymore. Have you been looking at anybody?
I have been looking at Braden. Is that it? Braden. Can you?
It's my son's name. My name's Jen.
Okay, well, then we're going with Jen. Jen, are you up for a reading?
Sure.
Okay, cool. We'll do it just like you said, Vicky, like totally quick, down and dirty. So.
Okay. It's a dog. Her name's Carly, female, alive.
How do you spell Carly, Braden, or Joy, right?
Jen.
Jen, okay.
C-A-R-L-I.
Okay. And she's a female, you said? Sorry.
Yeah,
dog.
Dog. Alive. Okay, thanks.
Yeah.
So I'm just going to jump in just because she's jumping in, so to speak. And she literally is jumping in. For some reason, she's definitely showing herself to me as a, put it this way, I have a 5-month-old puppy and who's like, oh, like this. And so that's kind of how she's showing me in her body. But as she's showing this to me, it feels like it's past. It's past. So in fact, I don't get the sense that she is actually really young. But she's it's almost like she's saying, you know, yeah, this is who I am in my mind. This is who I am in my spirit. This is who I am in my soul. Does that make sense to you? Like just a kind of like wide open, like happy, wiggle butt, content, like yay, kind of. Does that make sense to you?
Yeah, she's 7 now. Yeah.
Okay. So that makes sense then, that she was showing me that, but it doesn't feel like she's still doing that, but that's how she still sees herself in her mind. Like, yeah, that I'm still that happy-go-lucky dog. What do you got, Vicky?
Yeah, very, very similar. She's coming in, she's really friendly. She's waggy-tailed. There's a real sweetness about her. She doesn't, it's interesting. I hear what you're saying. It's like, she doesn't feel puppy-like, yet she does feel puppy-like, but she doesn't feel old dog-like either. There's two things going on here.
Right, yes.
Yeah.
The other thing that's funny that she just told me, and I specifically wrote down this word. She gave me the word knowledgeable. Like she didn't give me the word intelligent or smart. She gave me the word knowledgeable. So there's almost like this sort of old soul thing kind of happening in there a little bit. Like, and I'm going to say with Vicky, like, you know, how you said, like, she's showing me two things. She's a little bit older, but she's showing us, we're both seeing these two things. She's showing me this knowledgeable old soul, but at the same time, she's like almost pulling me back from old soul. Like, oh, that's a fuddy-duddy word to use. Like I wouldn't use old soul. That's a fuddy-duddy word to use. So, and I think what she's getting at, there's a little bit of a sense of humor in her, but it feels like a dry sense of humor for some reason. I have no idea why, but it seems like a dry, sarcastic, almost sense of humor. Does that make sense to you?
Yeah, I think she has a sense of humor with people that she knows and she likes.
Okay.
But it takes her a long time to warm up to anybody. So she's not very humorous or funny with other people.
Maybe that's where I'm getting
Like,
the dryness, because, you know, a dry sense of humor, like only certain people get it, you know?
Right, because we're always like, oh, she's a great dog. She's so, you know, like she lays right on you and she's like so just so different than when like with other people, right? She's like two different dogs.
Yeah. Well, okay. So we keep getting this two different thing there. So
Right,
there's something
right.
there.
But
Vicky, do you have
knowledgeable-
anything for the question?
Yeah, just knowledgeable yet young at heart. I am very curious, and I'm just going to voice this for right now and see if it comes into focus. And it's like she came into my space like she was the friendliest dog in the world. I mean, she wasn't, there was a little bit of reservation, but she wasn't that reserved. And so when you're saying she's that way with you and not others, I'm just going to kind of mark that with a question mark for the moment for myself and see if it comes through. So what's your question?
Yeah,
Brayden?
well, so my question with her is that we were fostering a dog and we adopted him, and her behavior has changed now that we're not fostering and that he's ours. And I'm just, I guess, curious if she can shed some light on that. Is it kind of like a only child syndrome?
So
and now she has a brother that she maybe didn't want to be there permanently.
What's her brother's name, Brayden?
Oh, so the other dog is Lucky.
Lucky. Okay.
Lucky. Okay.
Yeah.
So do we want to ask Carly how she feels about Lucky?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. I immediately just get, you know, kind of like she's not necessarily thrilled about it. She's resigned herself to it. but I do, there is a willingness to make the best of it. She's just not quite there yet. Does that make sense? Are you,
Yeah.
does
I'm
that,
hoping she comes around a little more.
Yeah, and so I'm getting two things here. I'm getting that she's trying to hold on a second. It's like, okay, the rungs of the ladder, I'm you know, I was here first. So I'm not really feeling like jealousy. It's just that, hey, I was here first, you're under me. But I also feel like this is playing out so that you can kind of step up a little bit and become that alpha dog a little bit more in the household. Does that make sense to you? Like there's
Yeah.
always got to be an alpha dog. And it feels like the role that you're going to need to step into that role a little bit more. I'm going to say the word forcefully, but I don't mean forcefully, obviously. But do you understand what I'm saying with that?
Yeah. Yeah. It's just, we have to be very careful how we approach it. Like, because you can yell at Carly all you want, but yelling with Lucky in the house sends him directly outside. He's very sensitive.
And this doesn't feel like a
So-
yelling thing to me at all. It feels like an energy thing to me. It feels like a very, I'm the alpha dog, I'm taking up more energetic space and you will fall into place. So it doesn't feel like yelling or no, you know, it feels like talking. It feels like, no, absolutely not. No, sir. I'm in charge.
Right. Yeah, because it's just interesting to me that we just recently adopted him, and now that he's permanent, now she's decided like his toys, like she's destroyed all his toys, and she like it's just since we adopted him, and when he was just there temporarily, like she didn't mess with his stuff, but now she's just making a statement.
Yeah, but would you agree,
Yeah.
Vicki? She knew he was temporary before.
she knew he was temporary, and it's not so much like you said, it's not a jealousy as much as it is a competition, and she is wanting Lucky to know that she was there first.
Right.
And that she's in charge. And as Jerry was talking about you stepping into more of an alpha role and talking more than yelling, the yelling energy I get kind of, up here, not really embodied, whereas talking from a place of inner conviction, where you're really speaking your truth, rather than, it's like you're questioning yourself if you have the right to want or need what you want from them. Does that make sense? It's almost like you're questioning yourself as you're trying to communicate with them. So really speaking from what you need, what you want, and from a place of inner conviction. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I'll try that better. It's hard to be like in between them, I guess, because I tell her like, of course you're first, but then, right? I'm like, but we have to accept him. He also needs to come out here.
Yeah,
we don't need to go in there and bark at him.
And I'm going to jump in there a little bit because it's not about who's first or whatever, and technically you're first.
Right.
You've got to be the alpha, and it's more about it's not like, I'm number one, you're number two, you're number three. It's I'm the alpha and we are the pack. And so it's more of an energetic thing. And you can feel there's some guilt along with you, like, no, of course you're first, we're so sorry we brought this dude in and we're trying, so this is you empowering yourself and being no, this is the choice we've made. We've expanded our pack, and this is how we expect that pack to be. So you finding that place of balance and grounded and empowerment. I hope is that helpful a little bit?
Yeah, I'll try that.
Awesome.
And then Lucky still kind of like Lucky knows he's there for good now too, right? And so he's finding, before he was temporary and nothing was certain. And so now he's still finding his way. And so the two of them are still working that out between each other. So.
Right.
Yeah,
And
I mean,
hope, like that he just feels more and more comfortable that he won't be leaving.
And
but
he's
that will just
testing the
take time.
boundaries a little bit. Yeah, he's testing it. He's testing the boundaries just a little bit to see what his new place is and how much space he can fill and what's his now. And that upsets the balance, like Jerry was talking about. That upsets the balance just a bit. Well, more than just a little bit at this point from Carly's perspective.
Right.
Okay. Does that answer your question, Brady?
Yeah, I think so. I think we're good. Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Jen. Appreciate it.
Okay, thank you, Vicky and Jerry and everyone for hanging in there for one more. I feel like we wanted to make sure everybody, we got the 6 readings that we promised. We hope everybody had a great time this evening. We really, really loved connecting with you all, and we could feel all of your energy kind of supporting us through this event this evening. And we're going to hand it back over to Chris now to announce the raffle winners to wrap up the evening. All right, Chris.
All right, let me unmute myself. Let's see. So I made use the wheel of names and the randomly selected raffle winners. We have 5 people, and not everybody was here tonight, but they had purchased raffle tickets. So we have our first winner is Jennifer Lopez. Don't know if it's J-Lo, but who knows? Jennifer Lopez. And we have Tara's Kitson. I'm not sure if Tara's is here tonight. Lynn Tutt. Hope I'm pronouncing your name correctly. Annette Mora. And congratulations.
Annette. Hi, Annette.
And we have Beth Marks. She got a reading and her name got selected again. So congratulations to all of you. You will be getting an email from us with information and how to connect with the communicator that you're going to be teamed up with. And I want to remind everybody that if you want to book a private reading before December 15th, you can do that, and the Animal Communication Collective will make a 15% donation to Jelly's Place. Really appreciate everybody for participating, for joining us today. We were able to raise a good amount of money for Jelly's Place, and I am super grateful to the team of the Animal Communication Collective for hosting, for having us. It was just an amazing experience. I hope everybody enjoyed it. Thank you so much, Karen, Meredith, Jody, Vicky, Jerry, and Jody again for being with us tonight.
Yes. So yes, thank you, everyone. It was so nice to meet you all. You have our information in the chat if you want to connect with us or email us or ask us any questions. We are here, and we really, really want to thank you all for coming tonight and supporting Jelly's Place. It makes all of our hearts so happy, and we look forward to seeing you in the future. Take care, everybody.
Protocol. I'm not sure if this is protocol or whatnot, but if
Mhm.
anyone can hear me,
Yes.
am I allowed to give a shout out? Also, Jelly's Place, the Seas Candy fundraiser. Am I allowed to give a shout out for that? Because it's that time of year. Please, 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 anything for Jelly's. This was amazing, but I got to give another shout out. And Jelly's Place does have other fundraisers. This is awesome. I'm gonna do this every second of every day.
Yay.
Best. But so please, ACC, you're awesome. I'm not trying to take away from that, but even with Jelly's Place, who doesn't buy Seas candy? And if you don't, you should. And if you do, buy it through Jelly's Place, and then at least some of the proceeds go. I just do want to give that shout out.
That's
please.
awesome.
But do not give the chocolate to your animals.
Exactly.
Sorry, I didn't know if that's protocol, but I just had to say that.
Thank
So,
you.
and go to their
Thank
website. Jelly's Place has it all there, but buy your candy through them. And I'm so grateful. All of this was so informational.
Thank you.
Thank you everyone for being here. Thank you for Chris for letting us come and do this with you and for Jelly's Place. And we would love to do it again. Karen?
Yes, absolutely. We will absolutely do it again. And so listen, everybody have a great rest of the year, and we know we're headed into holiday season. So enjoy, kiss all of your fuzzy animals for us, and we'll see you again in the future.
Bye
Bye-bye.
everybody. Have a great night.